Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Crime Unveiled on this Tuesday evening. Tonight, we're going to talk about the juvenile life cases. So, this was a decision by the Michigan Supreme Court. It was decided in April, and they said that anyone who received a life sentence without the possibility of parole between the ages of 19 and 20, that was unconstitutional. So, regardless of when they were sentenced to those years, that life sentence, their cases would have to be reheard. So prosecutors across the state of Michigan, they've been going through these cases. They've been deciding whether or not to retry this case as in a term of years or try again that life sentence without the possibility of parole. This is very similar to the Supreme Court decision that came down in 2012. It was Miller v. Alabama. So what they said is they said that anyone younger than 18 could not be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole unless the judge took into consideration different factors. So anyone under the age of 18 who is facing that life sentence for first-degree murder, homicide, things like that, they have to go through what is called a Miller hearing. Usually it takes place over several days, and those factors are determined again by the judge to see if that person can actually be sentenced to life without parole. Last week, or 2 weeks ago now, we talked to Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton about how the impact of having to go through case files is impacting his office. This is what he had to say.
Some of these cases date back 50, 60 years. We have to find the file. That's almost impossible.
Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton says his office has been overwhelmed by the amount of work reviewing these cases has created.
This is an extra 100 or so cases that involves a ton of work. It's not like preparing for trial. It's like you've got to find the file. You've got to find the individuals. You've got to review the Department of Corrections history on the inmate. There's just so much more that goes into this.
The review process means a prosecuting attorney has to go through all of the evidence. Files are kept off-site. Layton says then they have to reach out to the victim's family.
It's a very difficult task to find these folks. In many instances, they're long gone from our community. Some don't want to be found. Some don't want to revisit the trauma of losing their loved one to a homicide so many years ago.
To help, the Genesee County Board of Commissioners approved a request from the prosecutor's office to hire another victim advocate and a senior assistant prosecuting attorney.
It's created a great deal of work that's just too much burden for the current staff.
Prosecuting attorneys have until December 29th to review all of the cases for those sentenced at age 18 and January 5th to have the review done for the 19 and 20-year-olds. Can it get done by then?
It's highly unlikely. I mean, we have a deadline. I don't know what sanction the Supreme Court would put on us if we don't meet that deadline. We're certainly going to try.
In 2012, the U.S. Supreme Court in Miller v. Alabama said anyone under 18 couldn't be sentenced to life without parole unless a judge considers certain factors. All those cases had to be reviewed, and those resentencing hearings are still happening in Genesee County.
And they're just stacking up, but we're slowly working on them, and we'll get there.
So again, that was Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton talking about those, resentencing, the things that they have to go through. Now, this evening, I did get an email from the state appellate defender office, and they said that if prosecutors, if they're seeking to file that life sentence without the possibility of parole, then again, that deadline is December 29th for anyone who they were 18 years old. Then the January 5th deadline is for between the ages of 19 and 20 at the time of their sentencing. Now, if prosecutors, this is according to the appellate defender office, if prosecutors are not seeking life without parole, then the person will be resentenced to a term of years. And, there's no filing deadline for prosecutors with that. If they can't get through all of the work that they need to do to determine that life sentence without parole again, then it'll just be determined that they are going to file as a term of years. We'll post all this information on our website, midmichigannow.com. So again, county prosecutors from across the state of Michigan, they're looking at these deadlines right now. So when this ruling actually came down in April, I did reach out to the Michigan Department of Corrections at that time, and they said that there were nearly 600 people who qualified for a resentencing hearing, whether that be a term of years or, again, the prosecutors saying that they would like to keep the life in prison without the possibility of parole. So again, those two deadlines, they're coming up. And you heard from Prosecutor David Layton, who said that, his office needs help. He was given that money and he's able to hire a senior assisting prosecutor and then also another victim advocate. So they'll be helping with these cases. He was also approved for money for 4 investigators who will just stay on staff. They've been there, but their funding was from ARPA dollars that was used during the pandemic. So those grant dollars, they've run out. So now the Genesee County Board of Commissioners at that meeting, they also said that they would approve money for those investigators, to which Prosecutor Layton said that they will also be helping get through these files and going through and reviewing all of these cases. Again, this will be on our website, midmichigannow.com. So if you'd like to learn more information, a little bit more background of these cases, you can go there. Well, I just want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.